Alright, I'm back. So here's my update on the black hair algae. It's been about a week and a half to 2 weeks now. I've dropped the pH ever so slightly, so I'm at 6.6 versus 6.7 that I had it before. As you can see, I don't have any fish at the top gasping. I've got the plants purling every night now. And I've also been dosing quite heavily with Flourish XL. So in stronger quantities, it's actually an algicide, which is awesome. So the plants are using it, and the hair algae is dying off because of it. So I've used 1.5 bottles now in the last 2 weeks. So that's about 750 mils. I'm really dosing liberally with that, and it's working out great. So the first sign that it's working is you'll see that the hair algae will go a purpley color, and then with a couple of days after that, it actually just starts disappearing and dying off. I didn't manage to capture the algae during the purpley phase. I just didn't have time, but take a look at what's going on now. So one of the problematic areas I had was in the gravel up here. I was having ever so slightly algae start taking a hold in the gravel itself, and you can't vacuum it up because it's just too heavy. I tried to get rid of some of it, but it's just very hard and tedious, so I kind of left it. Other foreground plants that really looked a mess were these ones here. These ones are pretty heavily covered, so I cut out the worst leaves, and the Flourish XL is kind of taking care of the rest of it. You can still see a little bit, so I'll keep dosing with the Flourish. The nice thing about having a highlight tank and CO2 and fertilizing like I am is that whatever you do cut out grows back very quickly. Such as this area here, for example. You can see all of the really green shoots coming up. I get these every single week, so even if I start cutting off leaves, it just makes more light for the rest of it, and it just sprouts new shoots. So some of these leaves are pretty heavily covered. It's always been a problematic area for me. You'll get leaves that look like this, like that one there. That one's going to come out whenever I get in the tank next and do a water change. But yeah, the algae's really disappeared off of those areas. If you look at the wood, the driftwood overall, you'll notice that it's pretty clean. I think the golden algae eaters, the CO2 and the Flourish is really taking care of that well. The other side effect of dosing so heavily with the Flourish is the plants are growing awesome. You can see this crinkly cut one here is a brilliant green. All the colors throughout the tank are, very green or very red, depending on what we're looking at here. The Ludwigia. So this is, I think, maybe 10 days worth of growth, and you can see it's all at the surface now. And it's a beautiful reddy color. So I was talking to a friend about this and how to prune and plant it. What I've been doing in the past is I've just been cutting it off, and then for every one shoot that I cut off, I'll get 2 that grow back. But they always grow back. I still have the bottom part, which is green, and the red color at the top is what I'm after. So he just suggests cutting the red part off, planting it back in the ground, and eventually I will get an entire plant that is that red. That's the hope. So that's what I'm going to do with that plant on the next pruning job. See how that goes. You can see in the middle here there's a big gap. While I really like that plant, it never really rooted properly. So I'd have a huge plant mass growing up, in the top half, and just only a couple of roots at the bottom. So I was getting little pieces of that floating around the tank, so it's gone. I kind of miss it. I need to fill up the hole with something else, but for the time being, it's fine. I ripped out all of the geoff moss. That was a complete pain, because that would just keep floating around and breaking off. So the little traces that were actually stuck to the root, or the wood are starting to grow in, which I kind of like. As soon as that gets going again, I'm going to pull it off and just keep going through that cycle. So anyway, there you have it. You can beat black hair algae. I don't know if it'll ever be truly gone, but for the moment it's well managed, and it's just costing me a little bit of money up front in the Flourish XL. I'll see what it's like after I finish the bottle. Then maybe I'll leave it 2 or 3 weeks without dosing with it and see if it comes back, and go from there. Hopefully the CO2 is high enough and the plants are growing strong enough that this won't be a problem in the future. So there you go. There's my update.